Hello everyone and welcome back. Hope things are well. Hope you have enjoyed the weekend and I hope you are enjoying the sun because my word, it is hot. The second I've done this video, I'm going straight down the coast. I'm going to do some exercise on the beach. I feel that's a good option. But anyway, wish you all well and welcome back, because in terms of Newcastle United news now, I've actually missed talking about the news over the weekend because I was at the Hoppins one day and I was doing a charity match on the Saturday. So in terms of videos, I couldn't essentially make a video when all the news on Saturday came out, and I couldn't believe some of the articles I was seeing on Saturday. Of course, the big one being is that the fact that we are actively looking to sell Yankuba Minteh. Now, I'm someone at first who actually did not mind us selling Minteh. I said, well, this is a young lad, he's still raw, we don't honestly know what he would do for Newcastle. Yes, there's a possibility and potential that he could shoot on to be the next big thing, but we just don't know that information at the time. So I was someone that was actually going, you know what, I agree with selling him. But my problem being is that the fact that Newcastle, if we were to sell Yankuba Minteh, we're basically doing that to buy someone like Dominic Calvert Lewin. I've seen that post come out straight away now. This is basically our only striker we've actually been linked with so far in this transfer window. Now, don't get me wrong, DCL is a good player. He has been a good player for years ago, especially those lockdown years, bagging 20 plus goals on a consistent basis. But the problem being, he can't stay fit. We had this problem with Callum Wilson, so you're looking to sell Callum Wilson and then bring in a younger player who does the exact same thing. He gets injured all the time. The amount of games he's missed over the last 2 seasons is mental. It is mental. And Newcastle almost selling one of your best prospects, your best youth players, to bring in someone that just symbolises what Newcastle kind of have been last season, just an injury-prone team. And we've missed out on European football because players have been injured. That was a big factor why we didn't get top 7 football. So even though this guy, yes, wouldn't be a first-choice striker, I don't know. I'm not completely against signing Dominic Calvert Lewin, but we've got to be kind of putting our ceiling higher, I feel like. But we'll see what happens anyway in terms of that one. We've got all sorts to get into. So straight away, if you guys are new around here, make sure to get down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming transfer news on the channel. Smash the like button as well if you enjoyed the content. Now, I do have an announcement to make. Of course, I've just played a charity match before on Saturday down at Everton. It was a great experience. Now, straight away, just like that, it's time to talk about our next charity game that we're playing in. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we are playing down at Gateshead. Now, I've done this one last year, but basically every single year, this Newcastle United versus Sunderland charity match is dedicated for a child. So it's dedicated for a child that is actually unfortunately suffering with a life-threatening illness. In this case, it is Maya Ella, 4 years old, and she's suffering with a rare form of cancer, which is, of course, put on a horrible situation. So the point is that any money raised from the event is going directly to her. So once she's better, she can go to somewhere like Disneyland, or she can just do whatever she wants. And it will also go to the children's ward, the cancer ward at the RVI. So all the money goes there. And the point is to basically fund Maya, who's obviously going through quite a tough time here. So that's going to be on the 6th of July, I believe the date was. It'll be Newcastle United versus Sunderland charity match. There'll be local legends and celebrities, it says there. I don't know who that is. John Anderson was there last year. I don't know who that is referring to, but there's some special guests there. So if you guys are interested, just drop me a DM. Let me know any questions you have about it. I love playing a charity match. It's definitely one of my favourites, so I'm looking forward to being back there again this year. But back on topic to this video, Bruno Guimaraes' release clause expires on the dot at midnight. So once the clock strikes 12, it is now going to be in Newcastle United's hands of what they do with Bruno. Once the release clause is gone, it's no longer a team's going to throw everything in for him. Newcastle now have the luxury of basically knowing whether he's going to stay, whether he's going to go. Because of the fact that his release clause expires at midnight, I'm lenient to say that he's going to stay. I'm confident to say he's going to stay. The only issue being is that for whatever reason, after the Copa America, Bruno wants to go elsewhere and then a team puts stupid money in for him. Then maybe Newcastle might look at that point, but I feel like the release clause is designed there. So if Newcastle were going to sell him, it would be during that release clause stint. But once that release clause is up, my impression is he'll stay at least until around Christmas time, if not the full season. So I don't think Bruno will go anywhere now, unless I jinxed it and all of a sudden at 10 PM, Real Madrid or Man City or God knows who just starts putting stupid money down. But I personally think Bruno Guimaraes is going to stay now. I don't have any fear he's going to leave, and the fact we're being able to, I like to say, hopefully, stuck him and Isak down to the club is big. And two key areas of the pitch we need to sort out, and the only problem is now everything that's going on in terms of transfers. So let's talk about it. Let's get to the bottom of it, because it's been quite a confusing subject to talk about. In terms of injury updates, Fabian Shaw, despite breaking his nose, did not miss a single game and came back in for Switzerland as they picked up a draw against Germany. Thank God Germany scored a last-minute equaliser, because otherwise it would have been our side of the Euro draw. Assuming we finish first, by the way, which, judging by the way we play, is not even guaranteed. Kieran Trippier, however, going into the Slovenia game, has looked to have picked up an issue. So Gareth Southgate has Luke Shaw, who has not been fit all tournament, and now Kieran Trippier, who's not even a left back, is injured. So we've got nobody to play there. Great idea there. So when the likes of Lewis Hall, Tina Livramento, who are both English, or staying at home, we have got two injured left backs going into our final group stage match. I mean, just get us out of this tournament at this point. I can't even be bothered anymore. But unfortunately, it looks like once again Trippier is injured. How many times are we saying this now about him? And speaking of the injury-prone players, let's talk about Callum Wilson, because there's now interest from Saudi Arabian clubs that they could potentially see him going there. Now, obviously, with the Saudi Arabia background of our football club, chances are, one point that I made is that I feel like a problem that we have is that we can't essentially get any money for Wilson, because who wants to pay £10+ million for him? Well, now this looks like potentially the answer. Saudi Arabian clubs will probably do that, and I believe them straight away, when a team could potentially dump maybe as much as even £15 million in for a guy that's in his middle 30s, injury prone as hell, and Newcastle. It's absolute no-brainer. When you get good money for Wilson, I would sell him right now to Saudi Arabia, and it looks like if Wilson goes, then DCL, Dominic Calvert Lewin, will come in. As I said before, you're getting rid of one injury prone player and you're bringing in basically a younger injury prone player. Dominic Calvert Lewin, well, I don't know which striker I prefer actually, because Wilson's obviously is being able to consistently score a lot of goals over several years, whereas DCL done well in the COVID years and kind of dropped off a little bit. I still don't know who I like more, but it looks like it's going to happen. So as much as you guys don't want it, we'll have to see over time how things work out. And speaking of Everton, once again, in terms of our youth team, we've actually signed a 16-year-old defender from Everton. So you're coming now appear someone with an international background. He's someone that I don't know anything about. I'm not going to lie, I have not been watching Everton's under 15s player, but in terms of this kid, again, if he does the job, if he's what we need, then just get these young talents in and make sure that in those next 3, 4, 5 years they are able to start to gradually come into our main team. And like Lewis Maida you've seen last season, these players are just ready to light the world on fire. So it's looking good in terms of that. But Yankuba Minteh has got so much interest in him. Obviously the club's made it clear that they want to sell him. In terms of PSR, in terms of revenue, they look at the £7 million that they're paying and they see a potential £40+ million in for such a young lad that is probably not going to play for Newcastle ever. I see a lot of you guys kind of complaining almost and going, well, you know, why aren't we playing this guy on our right hand side? For me, unless you've honestly watched him play the majority of games last season and the other two, he's just, I don't think many of us know much about him. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about this guy. I don't watch Feyenoord play. I haven't been watching Dutch football. But the truth is, he's got a decent amount of goals in a league where it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to do well in the Premier League. It's still quite an uncertainty around him now. I wouldn't, at the same time, I also wouldn't just kind of jump in and sell him straight away just in case. So obviously this kid could be the next big thing. If we were going to sell him, it would have to be £40+ million for me, and on top of that we would need some form of sell-on clause in the contract, whether it be 10, 20, 30%, just whatever it may be. So if a team in the future sells him, Newcastle would then earn a profit of that sale. So for me, it has to be a sell-on clause, and there has to be a lot of money for him. I'm talking a lot of money, because we need money now that is going to sort the team out now. And if we're just going to sell this kid for the sake of selling him, especially if it's potentially rumoured to be Everton, a Premier League team we're selling him to, it has to be a lot of money. I mean, we've got to get a lot for him, because otherwise, if you're selling him to Everton, then Everton, by the way, is a team that we didn't even beat last season. So if you're selling to Everton and all of a sudden this kid starts playing well for him, that could damage us in the league. That could have a negative effect on us. So if we are going to be selling players, ideally you don't want to sell them to Premier League teams, but if you do sell to Premier League teams, it has to be an inflated price. We have to sell for more than what they're worth if it's going to a Premier League team, because we are essentially benefiting Premier League teams. And as we're seeing, Newcastle, we've been smart with Dan Ashworth. We aren't letting it go to Manchester United. We've been firm. We've been good on it, despite Jim Radcliffe whinging and moaning and playing the victim game on social media. We've stayed firm on him. So we have to do the same in terms of players. We don't want our players to go. And obviously, yes, we do want sales. But if it's to another Premier League team, we have to be firm, and we have to just make sure that we can get everything we possibly can out of it, because this could damage us long term. But yeah, those are the key issues we need to talk about there. And speaking of Jim Radcliffe, you can get stuffed. Honestly, Manchester United, in our first proper window since the takeover, charged us £10 million for Jesse Lingard on loan for 4 months. 10 million quid for 4 months of Jesse Lingard. And they had the cheek to come out and whinge that we want money for Dan Ashford because he's got 2 more years of his contract at Newcastle that he can't save up now because he's got to go on garden leave. A man who taking the mick or something. Honestly, just Jim Radcliffe is just so entitled. He thinks he's entitled to everything. Thinks Newcastle should just hand Dan Ashford over to him. It's not how it works, mate. We aren't doing that at all. If you want him, you buy him. That's about it in terms of this video, guys. It looks like Dominic Calvert Lewin is heading towards Newcastle as things stand. On top of that, it looks like Yankuba Minteh could potentially go our way and sign for Everton. His priority, he wants to join Everton as well, which is, I mean, out of all the teams he's been linked with some top teams like Dortmund. You've got some of the top teams abroad, and he wants to go to Everton. No, that is a mad move, by the way. But listen, that's what the kid wants, and let's make sure we get good money for him. Because if we are going to sell to a Premier League rival, we've got to rip them off. We've got to just take money out of Everton. We've got to make sure then can go back into us. And especially if there's a Minteh going one way and DCL going the other way, we've got to get a good deal out of this. Because it almost sounds like, I would argue, a bit of a bad deal for Newcastle if you're basically selling Minteh to bringing Dominic Calvert Lewin. You're selling a young prospect player to bringing an older, injury-prone player that just needs to be a good balance for Newcastle, I feel like. But once we get a few sales in, which I'm expecting towards the end of the Euros, or just even over the next couple of weeks, we'll start to pick up a bit. So once some sales are made, Newcastle would then look at our options and swoop straight back in. But yeah, busy transfer window coming up. Hope you guys enjoy watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. What would you do if you were Eddie Howe? What would you do if you were the ownership? I'll be intrigued to hear your thoughts. But take care, and we'll see you all in the next one.